Well, Gav, how's it going?
All good, Rob. All good.
Another tough task. We set ourselves our top five Alice in Chains songs.
A very, very tough challenge. I think I spent the guts of half an hour, I'd say, honestly, like swapping and choosing and picking and grabbing. But yeah, it's a tough one. And again, I'd say if I'd done this tomorrow, I'd have a completely different top five. So it's
Yeah,
just in the moment, I this is my top five anyway. So yeah, it was a very tough challenge. And even for a band that has only, well, with the original lineup, but three albums, is it? Three or four albums?
they've three studio albums,
Yeah.
two or three EPs, and then they have the unplugged, and
Yes.
then there's three albums with the later version with William.
Yeah.
But
You've Facelift, Dirt.
Dirt and Alice in Chains,
Yeah, the self-title, and then Jar of Flies. What other
Sap,
one? Sap. Yes. Yes. Yes.
and
Yes.
I think they released an EP before the first album. We Die Young or something. I think it might have been called.
This see this record I have here, the Unchained, with the demos, very interesting. You see the songs in the rawness, very cool.
That's class.
Yeah,
Brilliant,
yeah,
brilliant cover.
yeah. It's cool. Yeah, yeah. The 1989 demos.
Unchained. That's class.
Yeah, there's some cool stuff there. You can see some of the tracks that are on that. But they're in their rawness, you know what I mean? It's kind of cool to see the bones of the songs. So yeah, yeah,
Brilliant.
great band, a great band. Oh
They're,
my god,
they they are. They have such a brilliant depth of brilliant music, don't they?
yeah,
I think
really,
people don't realize it, like how good this band actually were. I think they were kind of sidelined because Nirvana and Pearl Jam and maybe even Soundgarden to a lesser extent got the spotlight. But I always felt, especially in Ireland, Alice in Chains were never really that popular in Ireland back in the 90s.
yeah. Well, I don't know. The crew that I went around with was big Alice in Chains fans. I have to say, now.
Okay,
Uh,
maybe people that are into music maybe knew about them, but I think mainstream,
yeah, oh yeah, no, definitely not mainstream. Well, I did. They did play the SFX in the early '90s, I think, and
yeah, sure that was a few hundred people like.
yeah, and I think it
Um,
grew. That was a really iconic gig, I think, in that small little venue, and they really grew a fan base in Ireland after that one. I think
yeah,
word spread fast.
yeah, for sure. But no, they're all their albums like all killer no filler. They're so good. They really
Yeah,
are.
yeah,
So yeah, I'm like yourself. I was I think I had to make about four different lists, or redo the list four times because I kept picking different songs in and out. So listen, we'll kick off. You go five, then I'll go five, and we'll work our way up to one. So what came in at your number five, your fifth favorite Alice in Chains song of all time
today.
today?
All right, for number five, I went "We Die Young."
We Die Young, yeah, great song.
Yeah, yeah, I love it. I
Great
really,
song. What
yeah.
album is that one off?
That is off. Isn't that off Facelift? I think.
Facelift.
Great tune. I
Great
love it.
song. What
Really,
stands out about it for you?
I just love you're first kind of introduced to Lane's vocals, and it's just, of course, a Jerry riff. Just and it starts fast. It doesn't grow. It just starts in fourth or fifth gear and just keeps carrying, keeps going, and just there's as always with the Alice in Chains stuff, the riffs. There's stuff coming from everywhere as the song goes on. But Lane's vocals, Jesus,
Yeah.
unbelievable.
Unmatched, really, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was a unique musician. Like he was as authentic as they come, I think.
Yeah. Unbelievable singer.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Very
What did
good. Well, that's a strong start. Now, I might have a few curveballs here for you. So, my number five is off the EP Sap, released in
oh
1992,
yes.
and it's a song called Brother.
Brother.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the
Okay.
reason the reason I picked this song is because of the performance they actually do on the MTV Unplugged. Now,
Right.
on the original version of this song on the EP, obviously the studio version, um, it's Jerry Cantrell singing, and it's the first song he ever sang on an Alice in Chains record or recording. And he actually he brought in Ann Wilson from Heart to cover the backing vocals in the
Oh,
choruses.
didn't know that.
But obviously, when they did it unplugged, Lane had to take on those female vocal harmonies, and
Right.
like he takes it to a different level. I actually prefer the MTV version, but an unbelievable, song, and such an important song for Jerry. Like I don't know if people are aware, but his mother and father split up, and
Yeah.
I think he went to live with his mother, and his brother went to live with the father in Texas, I think, and he didn't get to see his brother very often, and that's he wrote this song, and I think his brother was younger, and he felt a lot of guilt not being there to look out for him and play with him and things like that. So, as you know, as a child, he had all those feelings, and then when he started writing songs, he was able to put all that emotion into a song. But if you listen to the lyrics, very, very powerful.
Right. Yeah, it's just not coming to me now. I'm gonna be listening now after this. It's just not
Yeah.
coming to me at the minute. But one thing about Jerry, like as good as a guitarist, he is like unreal songwriter,
Oh yeah.
unbelievable. Like he has it all, and he
Yeah.
can sing. You know, you know.
At the end, I might give you an insight into why I've picked the songs I've picked at the end.
Oh, you gone
Just,
very deep. Okay.
just, just to give people a flavor of Alice in Chains. So, anyway, you go for your number four there, Gav.
I went with Bleed the Freak.
Oh yeah, interesting choice.
Yeah, off Facelift as well. Again, something about the melody of that song as well. It's kind of hypnotizing that song. I really like it.
Very,
Um,
very unusual.
it's quite unusual, but there's just something about the melody and just the flow of it. It just works with me. I don't know what it is. I really like it.
Very,
Like,
very dark in the chorus.
yeah,
The counter melodies. You're right. The counter melodies are amazing in the
yeah,
chorus.
yeah. I
The
really,
guitars as well.
yeah. It has it all. Like, you know, again for like a debut album, like they hit the ground running, like and a lot of stuff came fast after that. Was it 19? What was that? 1990, wasn't it?
That was 1990, the debut. Yeah,
And then Dirt was 292, wasn't it?
92 was Dirt, and they had the EP in the middle there, Sap,
Yeah.
sandwiched in between. So a very productive time for the band.
Yes. All right. So that's my pick.
Right. So number four, I'm going with something off the Jar of Flies EP
Okay.
from 1994. It was Mike Inez's first bit of work with the band, and
Yeah.
he came in obviously as on bass to replace Mike Starr,
So yeah.
and it's the song "No Excuses," and it's kind of funny because it's kind of like a happy song for Alice in Chains. Certainly the verse is very happy,
Yeah.
but the thing that really gets me about this song is the vocal harmonies and how Lane's voice and Jerry's voice mold together or blend together, should I say, and you actually can't decipher which is which.
Yeah.
And I remember years ago playing in a little kind of acoustic band and trying to nail these harmonies, and they're so hard to nail. They're so odd because, they're just there's actually a great YouTube video which isolates the vocals, and
Right.
you can get Jerry's vocal isolated, but
Right.
it's very odd. It's not a standard harmony. He's kind of jumping all over the scale, and I think it just makes it seem really, even though it's happy, it's kind of haunting at the same time.
I love the sound of the snare drum in this as well. There's an unusual pop to it. I found that in that track. Something about the drumming is it's quite loud or something. I don't know. It has a pop of it. I don't know what it is. I like it. It's really
Yeah,
cool.
I noticed that. Yeah, the snare has a brilliant sound and it's a great groove on it.
Mm,
The song really grooves, and then a great guitar solo as well. And this is
yeah,
another one that it's kind of semi-electric song. It's an electric song, electric
yeah,
guitar song. But when they brought it into the acoustic, it took it up a gear again. Like I think that acoustic album is absolutely amazing.
yeah.
But yeah, there you go. No excuses from Jar of Flies coming in at number four for me.
Well, number three for me is No Excuses from Jar of Flies.
That's a good one.
So I'll not repeat what we just talked about, but yeah, it's a killer song. Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah,
that's my number three.
brilliant. It's actually not a very Alice in Chains sounding song.
Um,
Kind of happy, and
it's a little bit too happy for Alice in Chains. Yeah, yeah. But
it's okay. I love it, but it's a little bit different to what they usually
it is.
do, you know?
Yeah, like yeah, you could. Yeah, it goes a lot darker, of course, but yeah, no, it's a killer song though. I love it. I really do. Um,
Absolutely.
So
So
you're
my number three is I'll tell you a funny story about this, but first I'll tell you the song, okay? So
okay.
the song is Man in the Box from Facelift. And I don't actually own that Alice in Chains album, but I have to sort that out in the next few months. But yeah, Man in the Box, absolutely brilliant song. I first time I saw Alice in Chains was when they supported Metallica back in the RDS in 2006.
Yeah.
So back in the day before streaming, and
Yeah.
I was a student at the time, like I hadn't any cash, so I had Alice in Chains' greatest hits burned on CD from one of my mates or something, and that song, like straight off the bat, listening through that greatest hits once or twice, Man in the Box stood out for me, and it was one of the Alice in Chains songs that I really loved. And then yeah, so I was working away and getting on with life, and then I went to Australia for a couple of years, and I was working on a project in Brisbane, and it was a construction project, and there was a guy on site, and he had this big, massive beard, right? He was a plumber, and I was on site the first day or whatever, and I asked him what his name was, and he said JC, and I was like, all right, okay. So then I was asking a few of the lads, like, why did they call him JC? What's that from? His name was Todd or something, and they were like, oh, because of the big beard, Jesus Christ. And it was like then one of them showed me a picture of him without the hard hat on, and like he had the big beard and the long hair, and like yeah, you could see where they were coming from, JC. But every time I saw him in the morning, I just have Lane Staley in my head singing Jesus Christ, and I was like, fucking hell, this is mad. You know?
I thought you were
Every
going to say Derry Cantrell,
no,
JC.
no, yeah, I never got that. But yeah, so every morning going into work, I saw JC, and in my head I was like, and I was like, if I had the vocals of Lane Staley, that's
Yeah,
the way I'd be greeting him every morning.
yeah. 100%. That's a great story. So yeah, man, and I believe they played it that day, didn't they? Of course not with Lane, but in the ODS that day, didn't they play that song? I think they
Yeah,
did.
yeah, they played that. They didn't play many songs to be honest, eight or
No, they played
ten.
it. Yeah, yeah.
It was
I
a very
remember
quick set.
watching that myself, and there wasn't a whole lot kind of watching Alice in Chains at the time. I felt. I
No,
think a lot of people just kind of mingling and stuff, and I was going. I remember looking at Jerry Cantrell going, "Why is not everybody not watching this?" You
yeah,
know. But I suppose alcohol and everything.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
my number two is from the Dirt album, and I went with "Rain When I Die."
Oh, powerful.
Yeah, yeah. Again, there's just so much emotion in that song, and it's kind of what I love about that album is like how it kind of starts and just goes darker and darker, and the unfortunate path that Lane was on, and we all know how that ended, and he was struggling with life and everything, and he just kind of got a he was the honesty. I know probably Jerry wrote a lot of them tracks, but I'm sure Lane had something to do with it too, but it's just the way he performs it, and he just puts everything into that song, especially the chorus. It's deep, like it's so fucking deep, like, and
Yeah,
it's honest, and it's real, and it's true, unfortunately.
yeah, yeah. That I think that was one of those songs when Lane passed away. It just made more sense or something,
Yeah,
and like went up a few gears.
yeah.
Um, but it's an immense song,
Like his
absolutely
lyrics,
immense.
his vocal performance in that song it's just amazing. It's
Yeah,
flawless.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
You're right. He's unbelievable vocals in this. The range, he's got an unbelievable range.
Yeah, and even live, like you watch some of the live stuff, and he's just as good,
Yeah,
just as good, if not better at
yeah.
times. You
No,
know.
a gifted, gifted man, no doubt about it.
So that was my number two, Rob.
That's your number two. My number two, it's from the MTV again. Um, so I'll just hold up the CD there, but it's the first track off this Nutshell. So remember the first time ever watching the Alice in Chains MTV Unplugged, and Jerry Cantrell comes out first, and he's strumming the guitar, and then I think is it Mike Inez comes out and he's playing the bass riff. So the band are coming out one at a time, And then Sean Kinney comes out, he's tapping the drums. They're just getting into the intro of the song, and then Lane comes out, and the crowd just goes completely mad for Lane because
Mm.
he was really struggling at the time.
Yeah.
There was question marks as to whether the band would continue. And I think that was one of their last gigs actually. And there was a lot of their musician friends were in the crowd. I know Metallica were in the front row
He
for
got a
Justin to
message.
come out. They got it. Yeah, do you want to talk about that?
Mike Innes. What was it written on the acoustic? Friends don't let friends cut their hair or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, friends don't let friends get friends haircuts.
They were talking about Metallica and they were, about the load and reload and the short hair and all that crack.
But
Yeah.
there's a great podcast on Apple Podcasts where it's Lars interviewing Jerry,
Yes,
and
I
they
heard.
go way back to the 90s when they'd be kicking it around and stuff.
Yeah.
So I think there is a bond definitely between the two bands. But yeah, you're right. It was they were slagging Metallica having cut their hair. But I
Yeah.
think it was kind of weird the way it was written. It was friends don't let friends get friends haircuts. So I think they were kind of saying you look like friends now, guys. You're all cut your hair short or something. But
And then Jerry had the bin beside him.
that's right.
Did
That's
Yeah,
right.
he had food poisoning that day.
Yeah.
But yeah, what a performance though. Yeah. Brilliant.
Yeah. And so that intro just sucked me right in, and
Yeah.
I love that song ever since. Very simple song to play. There's only about four chords in it, but
It's all about the delivery.
delivery is unbelievable, unbelievable, and
Yeah.
Lane again steals the show. So that's my number two.
But my number one is No Chill.
No way,
Like,
stop.
yeah, oh yeah, yeah. How would you beat that? You know what I mean? Like I'm interested to hear now what your number one is. The cogs in my head are going, but yeah, to me, Nutshell can't be bet for me personally. That live performance is just, it's
Coming in at number one, off Dirt. Okay, so we're trying to represent as many albums here as possible, and it's Rooster.
okay.
I absolutely love Rooster. Brilliant song, great production. The guitars are amazing in it. Of course, written by Jerry Cantrell about his dad who was also called Jerry Cantrell, but his nickname when his dad was in the army in Vietnam, his nickname was Rooster, and he had seen a lot of heavy stuff in Vietnam, and it really impacted when he came home. It impacted everything about his life to his family, to how he was being treated by the American public. Like essentially they didn't care. And there's a great lyric in the song, they spit on me in my hometown.
I did read something about that song when we were doing it. That when Jerry's father first heard the song, he kind of heard it and went, "Damn, close, too close." He goes like that. It
Wow.
really, yeah, really was like, "Damn, like that's too close for comfort." That brings me right back, like kind of thing. Even just listening to the lyrics in that song,
Yeah, that's
that was
amazing.
that was an interesting thing I found out. Yeah, but yeah, again, Rob, that was a tough top five, my friend.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Like even a top 10 would have been tough,
I was,
Gav.
I was just going to say that. Like, I think I had about 15 and I was chopping and chopping and chopping. And I'm just going, damn, Jesus, this is tough. But yeah, they're definitely up there on my top, top 4 or 5 bands of all time, I think, for me.
Yeah, they're
Uh,
definitely up there for me.
yeah,
No, I don't
yeah,
know if they're in top five now, but they're definitely up there. Like I listen to them a lot, and
yeah. Like
they're
that, the Dirt album is fantastic. It's brilliant. And even Facelift is very good as well.
yeah,
Um, Jar of Flies is brilliant too. The Rotten Apple is another one I took off. I thought it's a brilliant song.
yeah.
What else there? There's so many tracks,
Well,
but
Them Bones, I had Them Bones down originally. I had to take it off. Well, I'm
yeah,
surprised. Like I didn't have Wood. I'm surprised you
yeah.
didn't have Wood either. Like a lot of people say that Wood is their favorite song.
I was going to put Angry Chair in.
Yeah, and that's another one that gets highly
Yeah,
rated.
I like that. It's just another. Don't Follow is another good one too. It's kind
Yeah,
of a lot different, a lot different. What
Dirt. I
else?
actually like Dirt. I think Dirt's an excellent song.
Yeah, it's
Very,
kind of
very,
yeah.
very weird, very deep and
Mm,
dark. But
Sludge Factory as well. It's very good on the MTV one as well.
yeah,
Um,
very.
Frogs, another big fan favorite. But yeah, enjoyed that. That was great crack. It was tough
Yeah,
though.
I
So
was it was kind of spur of the moment because we were only texting about it this afternoon. So
yeah, yeah,
sometimes
enjoyed
that's the
that.
best thing to do because you can overthink it. If you don't have time, you just have to go with your gut.
Yeah, 100%. No, I enjoyed that one.
Deadly. Well, look, we might catch up next week for another top five.
Yeah, 100%, man. Dead
And
on.
we'll just give a little plug here. So anyone that's watching this on the Wall Again channel, if you could go over and subscribe to That Sound podcast, that's Gav's podcast with his mate Luke. They do great stuff there, and they'd really appreciate to get a bit more traffic over there because they're doing great stuff, interviewing some top bands and reviewing albums, going to gigs, all the rest. And you really should get over there and see what they're at. And likewise, if you're watching this on the That Sound
Yeah,
podcast,
check out Rob and Wall again. Absolutely brilliant stuff. A lot more frequent than we have, and a lot more interesting topics. We just don't have the
uh,
time, but your channel is fantastic. I love it. I love checking in, and I really enjoyed the Led Zeppelin ones that you're doing recently. Love it. So make sure to go and check out Rob's channel. It's class.
appreciate that, Gav. Thanks.
No
Okay,
problem.
we'll chat to you on the next one.
All
Take
right.
it easy.
Cheers.